6 months after the voters in the Republic of Ireland overwhelmingly rejected a new European treaty, there are plans to ask them to vote again. EU leaders have agreed concessions to encourage the Irish government to hold a second referendum on the Lisbon Treaty. Critics say it makes a mockery of the democratic process. From Brussels, our Europe editor, Mark Mardell, has sent this report.
No is rarely the final word when it comes to referendums on European Union treaties. The Danes and the Irish have both voted no in the past and were asked to vote again a year later. The French and Dutch said no to the European Constitution and it was killed off. But many of its ideas reappeared in the Lisbon Treaty, which was rejected by the Irish this summer. Now the Irish Prime Minister has promised he'll take a huge gamble and try again next autumn, which will delight those who say the treaty is needed for the EU to work properly. But don't they understand no?
We understand the meaning of the word no. The fact is that we don't have yet the Lisbon Treaty because Ireland had voted no. But it is also possible for a country to take another position when they receive the reassurances they believe are important.
Dublin's fair city is like the rest of Ireland, reeling from recession. Ministers hope people might vote for the security of the European Union, but the Prime Minister is deeply unpopular. They might just feel like giving him and the EU another kicking.
We've thought about this, we said no, so we're being forced into another vote. I find that bewildering.
I think it'll be yes. By what margin I couldn't say, and I think that's something to do with the fact that we're in recession now, and I think we'll be somewhat looking to Europe for assistance.
After scrutinising the last campaign, the Irish government seems convinced that people voted not against the EU or even the treaty itself, but because of specific worries. The deal is the Irish would be given legally binding promises that the Lisbon Treaty will not affect their tax system, their laws on abortion, or their military neutrality. And the plan to slim down the Commission would be binned. Each country would keep its commissioner. This big decision will have an impact outside of Ireland, here in Brussels, all over Europe and in Britain.
Well, the Conservative Party has pledged to give the British people a referendum on the Lisbon Treaty if it has not been ratified by the time we come into office.
The British government's position and the British Parliament's position is absolutely clear that the Lisbon Treaty is a good treaty. It's passed through both houses of Parliament, and it can only come into force if all 27 nations ratify it.
The millionaire who led and funded the Irish No campaign is now going Europe-wide. He wants to put up candidates and turn next year's Euro elections into a vote on the treaty.
Let's use the European parliamentary elections that aren't normally about anything. Let's just this once use them as a referendum instrument. It's the perfect instrument to use. It's right across Europe, it's in all 27 member states, and it's the chance for the people of Britain, the people of France, right across the 27 member states to give these people the referendum they didn't want us to have.
Irish No campaigners, staging a rather ghoulish stunt tonight, say they will bury Lisbon once and for all.
Well, let's join Mark once again in Brussels. Mark, if they're reaching some kind of consensus there on the way forward in Ireland, there are signs of tension elsewhere, aren't there?
Yes, but this is a bizarre row because I'm just hearing very last reports from the leaders' dinner that all of them, including Gordon Brown and Angela Merkel, Germany's leader, have agreed something of an economic recovery package, which sort of backs the ideas that Gordon Brown's brought about in Britain. But the sniping is from the sidelines. First of all, Angela Merkel's finance minister heavily criticised Gordon Brown's plan, said it was daft, it wouldn't work. Mr. Brown hit back saying that was internal German electioneering. Now somebody else has popped up from Mrs. Merkel's grand coalition, a budget spokesman from the Bavarian Christian Democrats, saying Britain's debt shows the complete failure of Labour policy. It's extraordinary stuff from foreign politicians, but it throws the Conservatives a sort of intellectual lifeline. If a lot of people feel that they are not doing what other people in the world, recommending what other people in the world are doing, at least the German government seems to agree with the British Conservatives.
Mark, thank you very much. Mark Mardell, our Europe editor there at the summit in Brussels. Well, as the EU leaders were making their way to Brussels for that summit, 14 people suspected of having links to Al-Qaeda